This isn't a birth date, it's a message from the universe. Pause for a moment, close your eyes and ask yourself, what if the day I was born wasn't just a coincidence? What if my birth month wasn't just a number but a cosmic signature etched into time by something far bigger than me? We spend our whole lives trying to find ourselves, chasing purpose, seeking meaning, trying to make sense of who we are. But what if the universe already left us a clue the moment we took our first breath? Carl Jung didn't believe in chance. He believed in synchronicity, moments where the universe and your soul shake hands in silence. He spoke of the collective, unconscious, a realm where every soul is connected to ancient symbols, patterns, and archetypes. Your birth month was your entry point into this mysterious design. This isn't horoscope fluff. This is soul work. This is inner alchemy. It's about understanding the unique energy you were born to carry, the vibration that shapes how you feel love, how you endure pain, how you lead, and how you heal. Once you understand your birth month, you begin to understand why certain lessons repeat, why you attract the same energies, why your strengths feel natural but your struggles feel ancient. It's not just personality, it's not luck, it's encoded purpose. And here's the shift. Once you unlock that code, you stop doubting your journey, stop comparing your life, and stop begging the world to validate you. Because the moment you align with your true essence, you become magnetic, unshakable, at peace. So before we go any further, take a deep breath. Let the noise fade. Let the ego sit back and just feel. You're not here by mistake. You were born exactly when you needed to be. Not early, not late, but right on time. Because the universe doesn't make random decisions, it makes divine ones. So ask yourself, what was the universe trying to whisper when it brought me into this world? Because what you're about to hear might just awaken the version of you that was buried, not broken, hidden, not missing, called, but not yet answered. And that answer begins now. Number 1. January. The one who walks first even in the dark. You were born at the very beginning, not just of a year but of energy, of renewal, of silence after chaos, of hope being reborn when the world feels heavy with endings. January is not just a month. It's a cosmic reset point, a blank page soaked in the ink of divine timing. While others celebrate the past, you were born into the future, into potential, into pressure, into purpose. You are the initiator, the one who begins when others hesitate, the one who feels the call to move forward, even when the path hasn't been paved yet. When everyone else is catching their breath, you're already thinking 10 steps ahead. You see possibilities where others see problems. You walk through fear, not because you don't feel it, but because you've learned how to carry it without letting it stop you. And that's your gift, but also your burden, because being the first means there are no footsteps to follow. You don't have a map, you become the map, and that means your mistakes are public, your courage is invisible, and your loneliness often hides behind your leadership. People see your strength, but they don't see the pressure. They admire your drive, but they don't ask about your doubts. You're expected to inspire, to show up, to be reliable, to never crack, to never need. But here's the truth. No one tells you about being the first. You need rest too. You need reassurance too. You need someone to ask, "Are you okay?" and mean it. Carl Jung once wrote, "A man who has not passed through the inferno of his passions has never overcome them." You've walked through that inferno, the fire of responsibility, the pressure of perfection, the ache of silent strength, and still, here you are, still showing up, still leading, still building the road for others, brick by brick. But today, you get to remember something powerful. Leadership is not about carrying everything. It's about carrying what matters most, with heart, with clarity, and with grace. It's not about always being right. It's about being real. It's not about always being ahead. It's about knowing when to pause, reflect, and recalibrate. Your energy carries the vibration of beginnings, of courage, of clarity, and yes, of confusion. But your deeper purpose is not to walk alone. It's to light the torch and then pass it on. because your soul didn't come here to be worshipped. It came to awaken others, to show them what's possible. When you lead not from fear, but from alignment, that is when your true power emerges. So to the soul born in January, you are the one who goes first, but you are never forgotten. And your journey isn't about proving anything. It's about becoming everything you already are. Number 2, February, the healer who feels everything. You weren't born with armor. You were born with an open soul. While others were learning how to build walls, you were learning how to hold broken pieces, not just your own, but everyone else's. February isn't just the second month of the year. It's the month of emotional depth, of silence, of unseen energy. And you carry all of it. You don't just hear what people say, you hear what they're afraid to admit. You walk into a room and feel the shift, because you are the shift. You're the one who absorbs energy like a sponge. Joy, pain, guilt, love, anger, shame. You carry it all without even realizing it. But that's the beauty of a February soul. You're not loud. You're loud in silence. You're not demanding. You disarm people with your softness. Carl Jung said it perfectly. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul. But you face it daily. Not just your own soul, but the soul of the world. You've been the one others run to, the friend who listens without judgment, the quiet presence who makes people feel safe even when your own heart is breaking. But here's the silent cost of being the healer. You feel everything but rarely feel seen. You give and give and give, until one day your body says, no more, and your soul whispers, what about me? Because somewhere along the way, you started believing that being there for others meant abandoning yourself. But today, we rewrite that narrative. You were not born to be a dumping ground for pain. You were born to be a channel for transformation. A mirror that reflects what's possible, not just what's broken. Your gift isn't just empathy. It's intuition, wisdom, sacred stillness. And here's what no one tells you. You're not selfish for stepping back. You're not wrong for needing space. You're not weak for saying no. In fact, when you protect your peace, you amplify your power. Because true healing doesn't come from burnout. It comes from balance. So to the February-born soul, you are not too sensitive. You are spiritually awake in a world still sleeping. Your sensitivity is not a curse. It's your compass. Your boundaries are not rejection. They are reminders that your energy is sacred. And your journey? It's not about fixing others. It's about remembering that healing the world begins with healing yourself first. Number 3. March. The soul who hears what isn't said. Number 3. March. March. Born souls don't just walk through life. They float between dimensions. You don't simply live in the world. You live above it, around it, beyond it. You were born in the twilight between seasons, when winter softens its grip and spring begins to breathe. And that alone says everything. You are transition energy. You are possibility in motion. You are the sacred bridge between endings and beginnings. You don't just listen to words. You hear what was never said out loud. The silence between sentences, the energy behind eyes, the soul beneath the smile. And that is your superpower. Your vision lives in the invisible. You see beyond logic. You feel beyond rules. You dream in colors this world hasn't even discovered yet. But that gift, it comes at a cost. Because the world doesn't always understand people like you. They call you too sensitive, too dreamy, too unrealistic. They tell you to wake up, not realizing you're already awake. Carl Jung once wrote, "Your vision will become clear only when you look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens." And March, you've always looked inside. You've always known that truth lives not in data, but in feeling, not in form, but in frequency. You believe in love that has no proof, in people who haven't met their potential yet, in beauty that hasn't arrived, but you can already feel it coming. You're the one who keeps imagining a better world, even when reality feels cold. And that's not delusion. That's divine imagination. You weren't born to fit the mold. You were born to melt it. You weren't created to be understood by everyone. You were designed to awaken what the world forgot: emotion, wonder, depth, meaning, spirit. Your soul is a canvas of dreams, a mirror for the unseen, a poem walking through a world addicted to performance. But you'll only step into your power when you stop shrinking. Stop hiding in shallow conversations. Stop apologizing for the way your mind drifts, your heart aches, your soul listens, because the world needs more feelers, more visionaries, more people who see not just what is, but what could be. And that is why you're here. Not to be logical, not to play it safe, but to dream, and to remind others how to feel again. You are the soul who hears what isn't said. And when you stop doubting that gift, the world starts to remember what it means to be human again. Number 4. April, the warrior who builds through fire. You didn't come into this world to be passive. You weren't made to tiptoe through life, waiting for approval. You came here to ignite, to shake the ground beneath your feet, to move. People, not with noise, but with presence. Aprils don't follow energy, they create it. You are the flame in the silence, the spark in the storm, the heartbeat of movement. Your soul didn't arrive with a plan. It arrived with a mission: to build, to lead, to conquer. Not out of ego, but out of embodied drive. You are action in its purest form. When the world hesitates, you charge forward. When people say it's impossible, you say, "Watch me." But behind that fire, there's a truth most don't see. Because that fire, it doesn't just light up the world. It can burn you from the inside if you're not careful. You move fast, too fast. Sometimes, you chase goals with such hunger that you forget the taste of peace. You push so hard to win that you forget why you started the race. You wake up with drive but go to sleep with restlessness. Because when the warrior is always fighting, they forget how to feel. Carl Jung once said, "The shoe that fits one person pinches another." There is no recipe for living that suits all cases. And that April soul is your mirror. You're trying to live a life of power, but using tools that were built for someone else. The world may hand you formulas, templates, rules, but deep down you know your path can't be copied, because you were born to carve your own. And here's the awakening moment. You don't have to run at full speed 24/7 to be worthy. You don't have to constantly be doing to be valuable. Sometimes the most powerful move is to pause, to breathe, to reflect, to ask, am I chasing what I truly want? Or just what looks impressive on paper? Because your true power isn't in burning bright until you collapse. It's in learning how to channel your fire so it builds, not destroys. You are here to lead, to rise, but also to feel, to love, to rest, to remember that fire doesn't just blaze. It warms, it lights, it gives life. When your passion meets patience, when your fire meets flow, you stop chasing success and start becoming it. So to the April-born warrior, you are the builder, the fighter, the fire. But above all, you are a soul learning how to be powerful and peaceful at the same time. And when you master that, nothing can stop you. Number 5. May, the architect of inner and outer worlds. You weren't born in chaos. You were born in the middle ground, that space between spring's bloom and summer's fire, a space that calls for balance, for structure, for substance. May-born souls are builders of worlds, but not just outer ones. You build from the inside, out with quiet power, with unwavering vision, with a love for things that last. You don't crave spotlight. You crave security, a foundation so solid it can weather any storm. Not just for you, but for those you protect. You don't just want a house. You want a home, a sanctuary, a space that feels like belonging. You value loyalty, beauty, and meaning. You crave stability the way others crave adrenaline. You're not driven by wild risk. You're moved by deep roots, by the promise of peace that stays. But with that deep grounding comes a shadow. Sometimes you hold on too tightly. You resist change, even when your soul is desperate for something new. You cling to what once felt safe, even when it has stopped growing. Carl Jung said, "What you resist not only persists but will grow in size." And that resistance, that fear of letting go, can quietly turn into your prison. Because in your desire to preserve peace, you may be postponing your own evolution. But here's your truth, May Soul. You weren't born just to protect, you were born to expand. You are not weak for fearing change, but you become powerful the moment you lean into it anyway. Letting go doesn't mean you've lost. It means you trust your own hands to rebuild. You are not fragile. You are the architect of both comfort and courage, of grounded love and quiet rebellion. When you stop clinging, you start creating, and you realize what falls away was never your foundation. What stays is what you were always meant to stand on. So to the May-born soul, your stability is your strength. Your stillness is your wisdom. But your growth lives just beyond the edge of your comfort. You are not here to merely survive routines. You are here to build a life so beautiful it feels like coming home to yourself. Number 6. June, the seeker who refuses to stay still. You were born in the season of motion. When the days grow longer, when light touches everything, when nature explodes with life unapologetically, uncontrollably, fearlessly, and so do you. Junists are not here to follow the script. You are the questioners, the rebels, the souls who look at the world and whisper, "There's more." You don't just exist. You seek. You chase ideas like fireflies. You crave conversations that stretch your mind. You travel through books, cities, beliefs, and philosophies, looking not just for knowledge but for understanding. You don't care about checking boxes. You care about touching life with both hands, fully, deeply, honestly. Your curiosity is not just mental, it's spiritual. You want to know what's behind the surface, what lies beyond the obvious, what the soul is trying to say when the mouth stays quiet. But here's the paradox of your gift. In your desire to taste everything, you sometimes finish nothing. You run from boredom, but sometimes you run from depth too. You're afraid of being trapped, of being labeled, of being stuck in a version of yourself that no longer fits. So, you move and move and move. But even momentum can become a mask. Even freedom can become a cage when it's not rooted in meaning. Carl Jung once said, "Loneliness does not come from having no people around you, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important to you." And that's your ache, isn't it? You're surrounded by life, but sometimes feel like no one truly gets you. Not because they don't care, but because your thoughts move too fast. Your soul goes too deep. Your heart stretches across too many galaxies at once. You want to share what's inside. But how do you explain a universe that's still unfolding? Here's your truth, June soul. You are not too much. You are just multidimensional. And you don't need to quiet your fire. You need to focus it. Because your curiosity is your gift, but your intention is your compass. When you stop scattering your energy across every possibility and start channeling it into what truly matters, that's when you transform from a wanderer into a visionary, from a seeker into a creator. You are not here to be tamed, but you are here to be anchored. And that anchor won't come from the outside, it will rise from within, so don't fear stillness. It's not your enemy. It's the place where your motion finds its meaning. You are not lost. You are in motion, and one day soon you will land. And when you do, you won't just explore the world. You'll help others understand it. Number 7. July. The heart that holds the world. You were not born to be loud. You were born to be felt. While others learn to fight with their fists, you learn to fight with your heart. Born under the soft glow of the moon, a time when the world quiets, emotions rise, and the unseen becomes felt. You, July soul, carry a different kind of strength. A strength that whispers instead of screams, that heals instead of harms, that holds instead of pushes. Your gift is your depth. You feel things that others dismiss. You see the small changes in tone. You notice the look in someone's eyes when their words say, "I'm fine." But their soul is screaming. You're the one who always knows, even when no one says a word, because you don't just hear, you listen. You don't just care, you carry. You hold the pieces of others without asking for credit, applause, or even acknowledgement. You just do it because it's who you are. You are the nurturer, the protector, the emotional anchor in a world that's forgotten how to feel. You make others feel safe. Not because you speak loudly, but because your presence says, you can fall apart here, I'll catch you. But here's the silent truth about you. No one knows how many times you've cried in secret, how many nights you stayed awake, holding everyone else's pain, and forgot to acknowledge your own. No one sees how deeply you long to be held, to be understood, to be protected in the very way you do for others every single day because your shadow is self-eraser. You give so much that you slowly disappear. You support everyone but wonder, does anyone see me? Would they still love me if I wasn't useful? You show up for people even when you're breaking because you don't want to be a burden. You believe being needed is the same as being loved. But it's not. And this is where your healing begins. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And who you truly are is not just the caretaker, not just the emotional support, not just the glue that holds everyone together. You are a soul with needs, with desires, with dreams, with boundaries. You are a human being, not a never-ending well of energy for others to drink from. And hear this loud. You do not have to bleed to prove your love. You do not have to shrink to make others feel whole. You do not have to suffer silently to deserve peace. You are not selfish for wanting space. You are not too much for feeling deeply. You are not weak for needing to be held. Sometimes you are sacred. And when you finally begin to love yourself with the same unconditional devotion you offer others, everything changes. But you are not here to be everyone's safe place at the cost of your own. You are here to build a world where you too feel seen, valued, and held. Because when a heart like yours turns inward, it doesn't stop giving. It starts healing. And a healed heart, that's the most unstoppable force in the universe. Number 8. August. The sun that shines even in darkness. You didn't come into this world quietly. You entered with fire in your spirit and radiance in your bones. August isn't just summer's peak, it's presence. It's the sun refusing to dim even as the world begins to cool. And that's you. Unapologetically bold, unmistakably magnetic, unshakably visible. You are the kind of person who walks into a room and shifts the atmosphere. People turn, people watch, people expect. Not because you seek attention, but because your energy demands it. You were born with leadership coded into your soul. You speak and people listen. You move and others follow. Not because of what you do, but because of who you are. But here's the truth. The world doesn't see. Sometimes that spotlight feels more like a weight than a gift. Because when you shine this brightly, everyone expects you to never dim, to always be on, to always inspire, always uplift, always perform. And so somewhere along the way you began to wonder, if I stop performing, will I still be loved? If I rest, will they still see my worth? Your light became a currency. Your validation became your fuel. And slowly your fire started to flicker. Not from weakness, but from overexposure. Carl Jung once wrote, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." And here's your awakening. You don't need applause to exist. You don't need admiration to be enough. You don't need to impress because you were born to illuminate. Your soul didn't come here to entertain the world. It came to remind it of its own light. True leadership, real authentic soul-led leadership is not about staying in the spotlight. It's about knowing when to step back, to recharge, to lead from within. Because confidence that comes from performance is fragile, but confidence that comes from truth, that's unshakable. You were not born to be liked. You were born to be aligned. And the moment your light becomes an extension of your inner wholeness, you stop chasing attention and start attracting purpose. You begin to draw in people who love your quiet, not just your sparkle, who see your strength in your silence, not just your speech, who stand by your shadow, not just your sun. So, to the August soul, you are not fire for others to warm their hands. You are a source, not a show. And your worth doesn't come from being seen. It comes from knowing who you are, even when no one's watching. You shine not for validation. You shine because it's your nature. And when you stop performing, when you finally step into stillness, you realize the sun doesn't beg to be seen. It just rises. And so will you. Number 9. September, the master craftsman of the soul. You don't just observe life, you study it. You were born with the eyes of a watchmaker and the soul of a philosopher. September isn't loud. It's intentional. It's the month where the world shifts from chaos to clarity, where the seasons begin to fold inward, where the air becomes crisp and the world feels cleaner, more aware. And that's exactly who you are. You're not just smart, you're sharp. You see what others miss, the subtle crack in a smile, the missed comma in a sentence, the hesitation in someone's voice when they say they're fine. You notice the details because to you details matter. You were born to refine, not to rush. You believe in excellence, not to compete, but because your soul is wired for integrity. You take pride in getting it right. You give your full energy to things other people do halfway. And whether it's your art, your words, your work, or your relationships, you care maybe too much, but that's your magic and also your shadow. Because behind your brilliance is a silent burden. Perfection. You carry the weight of shoulds. You hold yourself to invisible standards that no one else can see. But somehow you can't escape them. You fix things before others notice they're broken. You polish every sentence before speaking. You rehearse, double-check, second-guess, because in your mind, being prepared is how you protect yourself. Carl Jung once said, "Shame is a soul-eating emotion." And here's the hard truth. Sometimes your perfectionism isn't about pride. It's about shame. The shame of feeling not enough. The shame of being seen failing. You were born with the ability to see both sides, to understand all perspectives, and to hold space for the complexity of the world. You are the peacemaker who can step into the chaos and create harmony, the mediator who can calm storms with a gentle word, a thoughtful gesture, or simply your presence. While others may rush to judgment, you pause, you reflect, you find balance, and you do so with grace. But here's the paradox of your gift. In your desire to bring balance to others, you sometimes lose your own center. You're so busy ensuring everyone else is okay that you forget to ask yourself if you are. You may become the quiet anchor in everyone else's storm but feel like you're sailing alone. The weight of others' emotions often lands on your shoulders, and though you're strong enough to carry it, you sometimes wish someone would carry your burdens too. Carl Jung said, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely." And here's your truth, October soul. You are a natural at creating peace, but you need to make peace with yourself too. Your worth isn't in your ability to keep everyone happy, to smooth over tension, or to always be the calm in the storm. Your worth is in your ability to stand firm in your own needs, to honor your voice, and to maintain your boundaries. You are allowed to take a stand. You are allowed to choose yourself. You are allowed to say no without guilt. You are not here to be everyone's refuge. You are here to be your own. When you give yourself permission to rest, to feel, to be vulnerable, you will find a deeper kind of strength, one that doesn't come from holding everything together, but from knowing when to let go. You are not just a peacemaker. You are a warrior. You are a warrior for balance, for justice, for understanding, and for love. But your greatest battle is not with the world. It's with the voice inside that tells you that you are only valuable if you are constantly giving. When you learn to receive, when you learn to nurture your own soul, that's when the true peace will settle in. So to the October soul, you are the one who heals, the one who calms, the one who creates peace. But you are also the one who must remember that you are worthy of that peace too. And when you embrace that, you become unstoppable. Number 11, November, the soul of the seer. Born under the darker days of the year, you were destined to see what others don't. November is a time of introspection, of quiet before the storm of winter's chill, and you were born in this space. You have the ability to peer into the depths of life, to understand the hidden meanings, to sense what's beneath the surface. You are the intuitive one, the perceptive soul, the one who feels what cannot be seen, who knows what others have yet to understand. Your gift is in your ability to tap into the unseen world. You understand energy, you sense vibrations, and you can feel the pulse of life even when everything seems still. You are drawn to the mysteries, the things that most people overlook, the things that others may dismiss as insignificant. But you know better. You know that nothing is truly as it appears. You are the seeker of truth, the one who questions what is told, the one who goes beneath the surface to find the real story. But here's the shadow side of your gift. Sometimes you see too much. Sometimes you feel too deeply. You can become overwhelmed by all the information, by all the emotions, by all the energy that surrounds you. You can become disconnected from the present moment, lost in your own mind, in your own world of thoughts and feelings. And in that space, it's easy to forget that you are still human, still living in this world, still needing to ground yourself. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." And here's your awakening, November soul. Your true gift lies not just in your ability to see, but in your ability to connect that insight with action. You are not just here to understand the unseen. You are here to use that understanding, to create change, to create a life that reflects your deepest truths. When you can ground your visions in reality, when you can bring your insights into the world with purpose, that's when your true power shines. So to the November soul, you are the seer, the one who understands, who feels, who knows. But you are also a creator, a doer, a soul who can bring what you see into existence. And when you do, the world will begin to see what you've always known, that your truth has the power to transform everything around you. You were born to restore alignment in a misaligned world. October souls are the peacemakers, but not because you're afraid of conflict. It's because your spirit understands the true cost of division. You believe in justice, fairness, and the importance of listening before judging. You mediate, comfort, and find the middle ground, not because it's easy, but because you feel everything deeply. You don't just want people to get along. You want them to feel seen, understood, held, and safe. You crave peace, but not the fake kind where truth is swept under the rug. You crave the kind of peace that comes after a storm, earned through honesty, vulnerability, and courage. But here's the cost of being everyone's anchor. In trying to keep everyone else balanced, you lose your own footing. You bend until your back aches. Say yes when your soul is begging for no, and stay neutral. Not because you don't care, but because you care too much about how others will feel. You give parts of yourself away piece by piece until one day you look in the mirror and ask, what do I want? Who am I when I'm not helping someone else? Carl Jung once said, "A man who has not passed through the chaos of his own soul can never lead others out of theirs." And that's your turning point. You are not here to keep everyone comfortable. You are here to walk through your own chaos so you can become a light for others in theirs. You are not just soft. You are strong enough to feel everything and still stand. You are not just diplomatic. You are a truth teller who can bring peace without sacrificing your voice. True harmony doesn't come from silence. It comes from speaking your truth, even when your voice trembles, even when it disappoints someone, and even when it shifts the balance you've worked so hard to maintain. When you betray yourself to please others, that's not peace, that's self-erasure. But when you speak from your soul with honesty, grace, and firmness, that's when you become what you were born to be. The calm and the storm, the mirror and the movement, the healer and the revolution. So to the November soul, you were never here to disappear in the middle. You were born to be the bridge, to unify without losing yourself, to understand others deeply without abandoning your own depth. You're not just here to balance others, you're here to live in balance with yourself. And when you honor your own needs, you don't become selfish, you become powerful. The world doesn't need another people pleaser. It needs a truth speaker with a heart soft enough to love and a soul strong enough to lead. November souls are like phoenixes rising from the ashes. You don't enter loudly, but with stillness, with wind, With the quiet fall of leaves, a reminder that something is dying but something deeper is being born. This is the essence of your soul. If you were born in November, you didn't come here to float on the surface, you came to dive into the abyss. You came to explore what others often run from: pain, truth, darkness, and the soul. You weren't made for small talk or shallow relationships. You crave intensity, depth, and meaning. You want to look someone in the eyes and ask, "Show me who you really are." Because you've spent your entire life seeking to understand who you really are. You are the transformer, the alchemist, the one who can sit in the fire and emerge glowing. But here's what others often fail to see. Your power was born from pain. Your wisdom came from falling apart more times than you can count. Your strength was forged in silence, and your resilience built in shadows. Your soul didn't just inherit light, it inherited darkness too. Carl Jung once said, "The most dangerous psychological mistake is the projection of the shadow onto others." This is your biggest battle. When you repress what you refuse to face, it leaks out in ways you can't. Control, jealousy, rage, fear, the urge to dominate everything around you. But none of this means you are broken or evil. You are simply carrying the weight of generational intensity. You are not afraid of the darkness. You are learning to wield it, to turn it into power and wisdom. You see the bigger picture when others are lost in the details. You have an innate ability to step back, reflect, and understand life from a deeper, more timeless place. You are not caught up in the transient nature of the world's trends or fleeting achievements. Instead, you are focused on truth, meaning, and purpose. While others are rushing towards success, you are contemplating what truly matters. You ask the profound questions. What is the deeper meaning behind this? Why am I really here? What impact will I leave on this world? These questions are not trivial. They define your journey and guide your soul. Your gift is perspective. You are able to see the mountain while others are focused on the climb. You have the ability to zoom out from the emotional intensity of the moment, finding clarity when others are overwhelmed by their feelings. This allows you to see things with a rare clarity that others often miss. You are able to navigate through the noise, to focus on what is truly significant, and this ability to pause, reflect, and look beyond time is a profound strength. But here's the challenge you face as a December soul. With all this wisdom, you often find yourself feeling isolated. You see the depth in life that others often avoid, and this can leave you feeling disconnected. The world around you may not always be ready for the depth you carry. People often seek comfort, not the truth you hold, and so you may find yourself shrinking, holding back, dimming your light just to fit in. Carl Jung said, "Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens." And that is your path, to awaken. It's not just about finding clarity for others, it's about embracing your own clarity. You have the power to guide others, to inspire them. But you must first honor your own need for truth, for depth, for understanding. You are a lighthouse for others, but don't forget to shine that light inward as well. You are not meant to be understood by everyone, and that's okay. Your role is not to fit in, but to expand what others believe is possible. You are not just an observer, you are a visionary. You are the author of your own story, not the echo of someone else's. Your story is not about doing what is popular. It's about doing what is purposeful. Your path is about exploring deeper meanings and leaving behind a legacy that's shaped by intention, not by fleeting trends. To the December soul, you are not late, you are not behind, and you are not out of place. You are exactly where you are meant to be, standing at the crossroads of time, holding the wisdom of the past and the vision for the future. Your journey may feel solitary at times, but it's because you're meant to be the guide, the visionary, who leads others to see the world beyond its surface. Trust your own depth, your own perspective, and your own journey. You are not just a witness to the future, you are the one who shapes it. This passage beautifully captures the essence of the December soul and the deeper, often lonely path that those born in this month might walk. It emphasizes their deep wisdom, reflective nature, and unique ability to see beyond the surface of life. The paradox lies in the fact that while December souls possess an immense understanding and clarity, they often feel isolated because they carry a depth that others are not always ready to embrace. The idea that you are not here to be understood by everyone but to inspire them is a powerful reminder that December souls are meant to break through societal norms and expectations, expanding the world's perception of what is possible. The world may not always be ready for their vision, but that doesn't make their truth any less important. The reference to Carl Jung's words reinforces the idea of looking inward to awaken, that true clarity comes not from external validation, but from self-awareness and acceptance. The December soul is not meant to follow the crowd but to lead with purpose and authenticity. They are meant to ignite change, challenge the status quo, and inspire others to do the same. The message closes by reminding the December soul that they are not behind, nor are they out of place. They are precisely where they need to be, carrying a light that can guide others, but also deserving of that light for themselves. The journey of self-acceptance, free from hiding, rushing, or shrinking, will allow them to fully embody their power, to not just foresee the future, but to become it. In this way, December souls are not mere observers of the world. They are its visionaries, and in their awakening they awaken others. This passage speaks to the profound purpose they carry, not to simply survive, but to live with intention, clarity, and authenticity, thereby shaping the future they envision. This powerful conclusion emphasizes the transformative potential of this moment. It's a reminder that everything we encounter, including the words in this passage, is part of a larger, divine timing. It's not just entertainment or a passing distraction. It's an activation, a spark that awakens something deep within us. The message is clear. This is your moment to claim your energy, to declare your purpose, and to show the world who you truly are. The invitation to comment and interact isn't about following a trend, but about marking a significant shift in your journey. It's about engaging with the content in a way that anchors your personal awakening in both the digital and physical realms. By commenting, liking, and sharing, you're not just participating in a trend. You're declaring to the world, and to yourself, that you're ready for a deeper level of transformation. The call to share the video with others further amplifies the message, encouraging you to be a mirror for someone else, to remind them of their inherent worth and divinely coded purpose. In this way, you become part of the ripple effect, sparking awakenings in others and igniting change not just in your own life, but in the lives of those around you. The final statement, "Now, go and awaken the world," is a call to action, a challenge to step into your power and become the catalyst for transformation. Your beginning starts now, and with that, you're not just watching the world evolve, you're actively shaping it. It's a powerful reminder that when we remember who we are at our core, we become unstoppable forces of change, both for ourselves and for those we touch. This moment isn't just an end to one chapter, it's the beginning of something much greater.